Welcome to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, discussing all things audiobooks, the narrators that perform them, and the authors that write the stories. Including a special series with Narrator Shane East, the Audiobook Lovin Podcast is brought to you by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. Hi everyone! I know you're used to listening to me during Audiobook Month, aka June, for the month-long event Audiobook Lovin. I'm excited to share that Audiobook Lovin will now also include a podcast. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, and with the success of Audiobook Lovin this year and many of my guests suggesting I do a podcast, it's officially going to happen. The podcast will continue to include interviews with authors, narrators, and fellow audiobook lovers. I also wanted to include something fun, or should I say someone. When I was thinking of content for the podcast, I kept going back to my chat with narrator Shane East and thought not only about how at ease we are with each other, but also how much fun we had during the this or that portion of the interview, and of course, how much you, the listener, loved it as well. So what if Shane and I continued with the fun with an ongoing series for the podcast? I reached out to Shane with the idea of having him be part of the podcast with the This or That with Shane East feature, and not only did he love it, but he was totally in. Without further ado, welcome Shane to the Audiobook Lovin Podcast.
Hello, lovely to be here.
So I was sharing with the listeners before about how we're going to be doing these Audiobook Lovin Podcast, and we're doing a feature that includes you, the This or That with Shane East, since we had so much fun in June of this year. And then last year again. So
Yeah, you told me that those little bits are popular. My ramblings on this and that.
yeah, no,
We decided to expand it.
yes, we did. It was a good idea trying to figure out topics and content for this podcast, and people shared how much they love just listening to the this or that portion, just getting to know you better. So I'm like, well, maybe we should just do something a little bit more steady, and kind of develop from there. Reached out to you. You said yes. I was ecstatic. And so it gives you an opportunity to detect with the listeners, because we'll do other updates and stuff like that of what you're doing. So that'd be kind of fun as well.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And we'll actually include the listeners because we have a form that they can submit the questions that they want you to answer. That's going to be kind of fun for you, right?
To see what people asked me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, I'll be intrigued to see where this goes. I mean, you could ask whatever question you wish. We don't promise to answer
Yep.
them all, but throw it out there. You don't catch fish unless you throw a line or whatever. If anyone ever said that saying, probably not, but I must have read it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the idea. You get to decide what you want to this and that about, and
Mm-hmm.
send it in.
Yeah, and then we're going to keep it to about 5 questions per episode, since we know how much you love to justify your answers.
I mean, I feel there's some commentary in that statement, but it's true. I find sticking to this or that very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an eye-opener on my own psyche. But yeah, we'll see. So 1 week I'll surprise you, and it'll take 5 seconds, but I doubt it. I doubt it at the minute.
Yeah,
We'll see how it goes.
yeah, but even if it does, I'm sure we'll find other things to chat about, so no worries on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of questions they submit. Like Shane said, we'll review them, and not all of them might be able to be asked, but we'll go from there and see what happens.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who's because there are some people who are very active on Twitter, so I'll
Yes.
be intrigued to see if those names pop up or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
Or
right
some
now
other people, I don't know.
I was kind of thinking if we should keep the form anonymous or keep it as an option if they want to submit their Twitter handle or their name and stuff, so we can kind of just play it by ear how we feel how that's going. So we'll figure that out last
Yes,
detail.
guess it depends on the question as to how anonymous people might want it to be, but I think people
True.
are not very anonymous on Twitter so far, so who knows?
Yeah, no, it'll be fun, interesting, but very fun. So,
Hmm.
but there's actually a little bit more that we're going to be doing. You're going to have a series that's going to be featured here, also called Shane East Meets. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, so when you emailed me about doing your podcast
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of expanding it and doing it on a regular basis, I had been also thinking about doing something which I was playing around with in my head, which I was going to call Shane East Meets, as opposed to Shane East Reads.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just so clever. But yeah, Shane East Meets, and just have a chat with certain other authors, maybe some other narrators. Um, and I think because there's conversations that I've had with people, with narrators and authors and stuff, that I think would be interesting to broach and to, just discuss, put down on tape, use it as part of the podcast. And it might be interesting coming from someone like me who's on the inside of it,
Mm-hmm.
talking to another person on the inside of it. And I thought that might evoke a slightly different conversation. Or that's what I would like to do anyway. So yeah, so when you emailed me to say that, I was thinking about doing something along those lines, but incorporating into your podcast was a way better idea than me trying to venture off and do this by myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, and at the minute we're kind of playing. I'm going away on holiday, so we're kind of figuring that bit out. But that is to come later on, I'd say in the fall.
Mm-hmm. So cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm usually doing all the questions and it's from a reader's perspective. So like you were saying, having it done by you being in the industry and being part of that audiobook experience, it's going to be very interesting to see how that all works out. So I'm excited. So thank you too for being on this journey with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Get behind the wheel. Let's see where it goes.
Yep. So I'm excited. And so you said that you're going to be out. What do you have appearances coming up now? I think you're doing Rare, right? In London?
Yeah. So I'm away. That's called a kind of. I'm away for a few weeks, and part of that is being in London
Mm-hmm.
at Rare, which should be interesting because that's my first convention. Is that what you call it? Convention?
Yes.
Yeah,
We call
right?
them, yes,
I always
conventions.
think of Star Trek. As soon as I say that, I think of Trekkies, which there's nothing wrong with Trekkies, but that's where my mind goes. But yeah, so it'd be me and Andy Arndt is there. Zachary Webber's there. There's a couple of others, Ava Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing one or two off, but yeah, so we're doing that one, and then I'm also doing. Kim Lorraine asked me to do because I've done a bunch of her books as duet style, and we chat a lot. And I did her podcast, so she
Mm-hmm.
asked me to go to Writers in the OC, I think, or Authors in the OC, I think it's called. It's just a small thing, but it's right here. So I said yes. I'm going to go along there for a couple of hours, and that's in October.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so those are the two that are on the cards. I don't have anything else planned at the minute.
Cool.
But who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well, maybe you'll get some material while you're out there talking to the authors and the narrators while you're there.
That's the idea. I'm hoping I've just got to get. You sent me some on-the-go technology that I have to look at this weekend and get
Mm-hmm.
myself in time to go. So everything's a little crazy at the minute, trying to
Mm-hmm.
fit all the projects in before I leave. But yes, hopefully that will work out too. And because Louise Bay is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ada Harrison I know is going to be there. And some others that I've worked with should also be at Rare. So I will be bopping around. So hopefully I can get some material, just some fun chats or whatever, see
Mm-hmm.
what's going down. So
Yeah,
that's the idea.
I'm excited. One day I'll get abroad, as we talked before. One day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we have to chip away at that nugget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
Well, we'll work on it. We'll work on it. Um,
mm-hmm,
Wanted to let you know though, I got an ARC of the audiobook for Instant Gratification by Lauren Blakely, and
mm-hmm.
her book just came out. It was phenomenal. You guys did a completely awesome job, and I know that she's posted a couple of videos with you guys talking about the process and everything. But you being one of the leads and being in the book a lot, how is that all that recording with the full cast there? Because you guys are always so isolated.
Yeah. What do you mean? How was it? Like, how was the
The
experience
experience.
different?
Yeah, because have you done, I know you've done some duets, but has it been like in the same room like that?
I've done duets in the same room, some, and I've also done some in separate studios. Um, yeah, this was much more, I don't know, like the closest this had is to animation when I've done animation jobs, and there's maybe three or four of you doing a few scenes together. So, they want that kind of live play off of each other kind of thing. So this was more like that, except for me, especially for me on the first day, and then Andy as well on the second day, it was it was bloody intense. Um, so because we were all there, yeah, and we're doing all these scenes, and you kind of have to stay, you're in the zone. Um, but I don't know, it adds so much to have everybody right there with you. Um, I mean, and people saw some videos that I know Lauren's husband took of us, and we are kind of in our zone, but at the same time, you are in the energy of other people is there, and it's actually great to hear other people how they're doing their lines because that's sort of 101 acting. It really dictates how you do yours, or it can dictate in lots of ways. So I think that's what probably as well, maybe, you say you really loved it, and a lot of people have said that, and I think it does give that extra bit to have everybody have their own characters and then have people playing off of each other in that way. It sort of takes it to another level or just a different level that you don't have necessarily if it's a solo narration or even duet when we're doing them separately and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I think I've spoken, like you said, there's been some videos online
Mm-hmm.
about the whole process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wish we could do them all like that, but it's not.
Yeah. In a couple of years, I have an idea, a feeling that it might be a bit more like that. Maybe not as big with as many narrators that Lauren did, but it looks like that's
Yeah.
something. But it looks like you guys were having fun too in those videos, which I love seeing that. So I really appreciate and love the fact that Lauren's did that and her husband was able to record that stuff. And if you're listening to the audiobook, make sure that you listened all the way through to the credits, almost like a Marvel movie. There are some bloopers
Hmm.
and an awesome interview with Shane and Andy and Joe Arden did the interviewing, right? So that was
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, about wedding planning, was it?
Yes, it was. He came up with some very
Oh.
interesting names for his potential wedding planning business, and asked
Hmm.
you some great questions. Which, again, we'll let the listeners listen to all that stuff and have the fun. Literally, I was thinking it's like Marvel movie. At the end of the credits, we get a bonus. Um, so that was
Yeah, we
fun.
just chatted shit for like 20 minutes, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, that was good. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's the whole thing. It's the whole experience. Is
Hmm.
like you said, videoing it, doing those interviews, having each other in the room, and yeah, it's just a very different package. And
Hmm.
I think like that, you get that at the end. You get those kind of blooper reels and stuff. And I think Lauren, I don't know if anyone else has done those. Maybe um, they have. I don't know if you've heard them before, but I know she kind of did it on one of the other projects, and that's why she wanted it. She said people really like that, which
Yeah.
I can see why.
Yeah, it was
It's
fun.
fun.
Yeah. So, can you share of anything that you're working on next that's coming out?
I did one for Anna Durand, which is coming out. Actually, co-narrated that, and then I produced that one. So that's cool. So we're just wrapping up the final sort of mastering of everything and putting it all together, and that should be coming out in maybe a week or two. So I don't know when this podcast is going to be airing, but it should already be out. It's called Insatiable in a Kilt, which is so it's the Scots situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that one floating
Hmm.
around, like the title of it.
in the in the ether.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Scottish from beginning to end, which I love. I've done that before, and I actually like that accent. I think it's good. It makes all the naughty stuff sound just a little bit, I don't know, spicier, I think, in
Hmm.
a Scottish accent. So those are two, and then there's some other ones, but I, as usual,
Can
I
share.
don't. I can't share them, or my mind goes into a blur. I'm doing some more Lily Archer stuff. I know
Hmm.
people. I think people are catching on to her sort of
Okay.
PNR um, books. I don't think you've listened to any of those yet, have you?
No, no, not
Uh,
yet.
no, no, no. They're on the shorter side as well. They're kind of two, maybe 3, 4 hours each.
Oh,
I
cool.
do those with Mackenzie Cartwright, but I like those. There's another. Again, it's totally completely different, um, you know, style and genre. Oh yeah, and Crin just came out as well. I did that for Patricia Edie.
Mm.
Is it Eddie or Edie? I don't even know. I didn't do the credits, so I don't remember. Um, but yeah,
I
and that's
usually
another
take your
short.
lead when you pronounce them. I go, that's how it
Pronounce
is.
their
Yeah.
names. Well,
Yeah.
now you get an insight into my life because I'll get a script, I'll get the credits, and I'll be like, oh, is it Edie, Eddie? Because you never know with names. There might be, unless it's Smith, then there might
Yes.
be a few different ways. You don't have the easiest name. Uh, if I saw that on a sheet, I might want to double check
Eh,
where the emphasis is.
yeah.
So anyway, so that's it. So yeah, so those things are on the cards coming out, and then there's some more bits and pieces of filling in as I
Hmm.
come back from holiday. So I'll keep you updated since we'll be doing the podcast.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. So, of course, we're not going
Mhm.
to leave the listeners with not doing a little bit of a this or that with Shane East, right? Because I got
Oh,
questions.
okay, okay, yes. I'll try and keep it brief.
Yes, it'll be, we'll just do like one or two questions and that's it, just to give them a bit of a teaser there. Um,
Hmm.
Bacon or sausage?
Sounds filthy.
Yeah, that's me. I can do that.
Um, Definitely. Now I sound filthy. Definitely sausage. Yeah. Don't. I only like English bacon, which is cut differently.
Yeah, is it like the our bacon or is it like a ham? Like a run because
It's.
we have
I
the
think it's like
Canadian bacon.
Canadian.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's how the British one is. The American one, no offense, is just all like crispy and weird. I don't. I sound like. I think that was Jason in Instant Gratification was
Yeah.
like that. He
Yeah.
hated bacon.
Mhm.
I felt for him. I was like, yep, I'm on your side with that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
sausage.
Got it. That's what's one of the reasons why this question came up, and I was like, "This is perfect because your character Jason and Andy Arts truly both despise or dislike bacon." So I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna ask
Hmm.
Shane that." All right, and then the last one
Hmm.
is Chinese or Japanese food.
Uh, it has to be Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
but and this is you get to learn about me. I'm allergic to soy, so Asian food is not great for me in general.
Oh, and they use soy for everything. Oh, okay. Wow.
So yeah, so Chinese food is generally out, even though I used to love chow mein and all of that stuff and like the shrimp things. And I can do Japanese if I don't use soy sauce and just kind of go a bit more clean
Mm-hmm.
and plain. There
Oh,
you go. See, you're right. You see, this game is so simple, but you end up learning things like my food allergies. It's crazy.
yeah. Wow, that's wow. I feel bad because it's just one of those they put soy sauce in about everything, even when they're preparing the food. Not so much in Japanese, but definitely Chinese food. They
Yeah.
use it for everything. Wow,
Yeah,
craziness.
they do. I know, and I was figuring out what was going on, and then I, I went to the allergy guy, and then he told me, I was like, "What?" I was like, soy, okay, and peanuts, soy and peanuts. So that's Thai food out for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, and then yeah, he told me to try it. He was like, "Okay, well, don't have any. Make sure you don't have anything with any of that in there, and then try each one by one." And then I tried. I had a Chinese meal like after a month of judiciously not having anything with soy in, even like little bits and pieces. I woke up like my eyes had blown up. I felt like I had the worst hangover of my life. I had this like crazy headache, like I'd been out drinking and had, a bottle of vodka to myself. So I was like, okay, well, yep, that makes sense. There we go. So
Oh
anyway,
boy.
so that's that out the window.
Huh?
So yeah,
Wow.
that's it. That's me for give away enough secrets.
Until next time, right?
Yeah, until the next one pops up.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
soy and peanuts. Wow. Ugh, poor thing.
mm, oh, and sesame. And sesame. So like it's literally Thai or Asian food is not really the
Oh
best.
wow.
But there
Eh,
could be worse things happen.
that's true. At least you know, and then you can figure that
I
out.
know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm. So Shane, tell us a little bit about the fact that now you have a website.
Yes. It's partly because of people like you. You said, about Twitter, and then I got on Twitter, and then I loved being on Twitter. And then I decided to, give Shane East his own website, which is just shaneeastreads.com, kind of still tying in with the Twitter, so it's the same handle. And then there is going to be, or is, my the homepage about Shane. There's a samples page, so you can go in and listen to some older, some stuff I've recorded. So it's just something and there's a contact page, and also for authors as well, if they want, if they're looking for someone to produce their indie projects, I do that. So it's all going to be on the website, and fans and authors and whoever fancies can go take a look at shaneeastreads.com.
Awesome. Glad that you finally got that done.
Yep. He's got his own life. He's up and running.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for being part of this journey with me, and just all this next fun that we're going to be having. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Cool. And so until next time, happy listening. Thank you for joining us on the Audiobook Lovin Podcast, hosted by Viviana, Enchantress of Books. For links and more info about today's episode or the Audiobook Lovin Series, visit vivianaenchantressofbooks.com. Please consider leaving a review wherever you listen to the podcast if you've enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, happy listening.